G'day, welcome back. It's been a while, so sorry about that. Just been busy doing other stuff, but it's time to do an oil change on the K-swapped EG. And what I decided to do was, while I got the oil out, I will put in a baffle. So I've got a Blox baffle, and hopefully it will work with the steel sump. I've seen a couple of other people that reckon it does. And the other thing I need to do is, I've got a K24 sump on this with a K20 oil pump, so I need to, well, I'm going to have a look at the difference, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot of reputable tuners here that reckon that you should have a K20 steel sump if you're running a K20 oil pump. So I'll compare them, and we'll probably put the K20 sump on as well at the same time. Been putting this one off for a while because it's a pain in the neck to work on the sump while the engine is in the car. So anyway, let's get to it. First step, jack it up and we'll drain the oil. So I've got this, what do you call it? It's like a brace that goes between just on the back of the gearbox. So that's going to have to come off too. I think it's a few 14s. Alrighty, so we've got all of the 10 mils off. And then of course it's nice and stuck on there. And this is going to be the tricky bit, because it's not that easy to get to any of the sides. Just got to gradually go along. So I think I finally got the seal there. There we go. Not that bad. Alrighty, so I've given this a clean up of the old gasket, old Honda Bond or whatever I used, Permatex. Now I'm just going to take out, there's 6 bolts that are on the baffle tray, and I think you just do them one by one. So I've done one, I put a stud in there. You have to put a stud in each of these. So I'll give you a demo on this one. So you just take out the old, it's a 10mm head bolt, and then you've got a little packet full of stuff, and you've got a stud like that. So the small end of the stud, just put a bit of Loctite on it. Like that. Put it up into there, and do it till it bottoms out. I've still got this sump leaking on me. And then you put in a spacer, and then they have these like little nuts to hold the spacer up, which is handy. So that basically, so that the baffle, it's perfect for doing it under the car, because the baffle's not going to drop on your head. So I just push it on with a, like that, and that'll just hold it up while you get the rest of them done. So I'll go and do the other 6. There's 6 of these bolts holding it on, and then we'll be ready to install the baffle. And I'll show you what I've done. I've slightly had to modify the baffle to suit the steel pan, so I'll give you a look at what I've done. Alright, so this is the baffle. It's pretty simple. It's no trapdoors or anything like that. It's just you know, basically stops the oil sloshing around. What I had to do was just take a tiny bit off that corner there, and the other thing was just bend these slightly. I think it was that way. I just bent them. I did this a couple of months ago on the other engine that I'm building, but it just catches on the steel sump, so I bent those. You'll see when you do it yourself, it's not that hard to do. So get this bolted in. We'll put some Loctite on the other side of the nuts as well, just so it doesn't come off. And then we're ready to put the sump on, and I'll show you the difference between the two sumps. Only very, very slight, but apparently enough to possibly cause oil starvation issues. So we'll have a look at that. Alright, so these are the two oil pans. This one is the Accord Euro or TSX, and it is different. I was skeptical. I thought that you know, maybe these were companies trying to sell stuff to us, but they are different. And this has a recess for the pump. Where over here on the TSX one, you can see there's no recess for the pump. So the pump sits pretty much hard on the bottom there, and it doesn't have enough space for the oil to get under, or that's the theory anyway. So it's much better to use this one, which has that recess there and allows the oil to get under the pump and through the engine properly. Alright, so these should just slide over like that. So this is how the baffle sits in the car. Got the 6 bolts bolted up. It was a bit of a pain actually. I had to take the studs out and of these back two and do those separately. So anyway, we've got it all cleaned up. We're ready to put the sump back on. This corner here is where it always drips, so I just got to make sure I clean that before I put the sealant on that part. But let's get it buttoned back up and hopefully it fits. So I've got the sump back on. It's pretty tight, even with the mods I've done. I'm just gonna tighten it up a bit. New filter, we'll top it up with oil. Alright, so I've just removed the wire for the fuel pump, so I'm just going to give it a crank and try and get that oil pressure light to go off before I start the car, just because of all the stuff we've done underneath. Make sure we get oil through the system. There we go. So usually it does take a few seconds like that, but it saves you starting the car without oil pressure. I guess this is a must do if you've had the engine apart or whatever. Definitely do this. Probably overkill for what I've done, but yeah, better safe than sorry. Anyway, I will start it up and make sure it starts, and then that's pretty much a wrap for this video. So if you did like it, please give us a subscribe and like the video. Thanks everyone. Cheers. Now we've got the fuel pump back on. We can hear it priming.